This is day 493 of Zohar Pshat. It's also the first day of learning Parshas Noach, and we're on top of Nun Tes Amud Beis. Ela told us Noach. These are the generations of Noach. Rabchia Pasah, Rabchia opened the opening for this parsha from here. V'amekum tzadikim, long mishoretz, your nation is a nation completely of tzadikim. They will inherit the world for eternity, the land for eternity, which is understood here to refer to the Mabah. Netzim Atoy, they are the offshoot of my planting. Ma'aser, they inspired my handiwork in which to take pride. Zohar in Yisroel, meritorious are the Jews. They have great merit, which is why they call this pasuk tzadikim. The mishtali b'raisa, they toil in Torah, v'yadin archa deraisa, and they know the ways of Torah. The beginning of Yisroel Lamadasi, through which they'll merit the world to come. Tochasi, come see. Koisel Yisroel Choko the Amadasi. Of Am Yisrael has a portion of the world to come. Now, the Chiddush of Zohar is, even if they are not Mishtali Raisa and the Yadi Orcha Raisa, they also have a merit. My time, why? Because they keep the bris. And the bris here is the bris, I'm sorry, bris, they keep the bris, the Alma is Kaim Allah upon which the world exists. And as we shall see, it's obvious in the Zohar they're referring to the bris milah, not just Tama covenant, but rather bris milah, and specifically refraining from arayos. Kidei Marta, like it says, Im lo brisi yom avlah, and we know there's such a bris upon which the world is sustained, and it's interpreted about other brisos as well, but here is also interpreting as the bris of Shemiras HaBris. Not my bris day and night, have not created the pathways of heaven, the rules of heaven and earth. So must be that the bris is what sustains heaven and earth. V'ado Yisrael the natural bris, and therefore Am Yisrael which reserves the bris, Kabbalah and accept Kabbalah's bris. The Tzutzei Oros is bothered. Why does it say first natural bris, they preserve the bris, and then Kabbalah, then they accept the bris? So the other way around. First they accept the bris, and then they preserve the bris. So it gives two Pshat. He says, first Pshat, he says that, well, if you don't keep the bris, it's as if you never accepted it. So therefore, that's more important. So therefore, we say they keep the bris, and that is a sign of their acceptance. The other Pshat says that you keep the bris from the time you're 13 years old, you preserve yourself from sinning minarayos. You only are mekabel the bris when you have a son, and you give your son a bris. So that's later on. Okay? If not, the Tzutzei Oros having raised the issue, I don't know that I would have had a problem with it. It would have just say, okay, that's very often we find that things are phrased in that backwards order. Poetical flourish. Anyway, because they're not Shabbos Kabila, Isun Chokah B'Amadas, they have a portion of the world to come, independently of other mitzvahs, sounds like, even just for that in and of itself. Below now you got a begin Kachikun Tzadikim, called Tzadikim on that basis, even without any other mitzvahs. The Shemiras HaBris, again, the sense of refrain from arayos, is enough to be called a tzaddik. And therefore, right? Because Am Yisrael is known for their preserving the mitzvah of refraining from arayos. So therefore, they have this special schus by which they merit the world to come. Yeah, but again, the HaBris Kabila is a Chukadam Badasi. V'lo na'idad begin ichud tzadikim, because of this they're called tzadikim. Mikano lifna. From here we learn kol madinat HaBris ta'alma is kaim Allah. Anybody keeps the space upon which the world is sustained. Ikrei tzadik is called tzadik in and of himself. As he says in Tzutzei Oros, come out, feel shameful el mitzvah zu tzadik ikri, only as this mitzvah called tzadik. Achar shkol miskayim Allah, since the entire world is sustained by it. Minolan, how we know this is the case, even though we can't leave it, sounds like we already learned it out, but we seem to be bringing another source for it as well. So, how do we know that anybody keeps the bris called a tzaddik? Mi Yosef, because Yosef began to not lay the bris alma, because Yosef kept the bris of the world, bris of the world, the world, bris which the world is sustained, Zohar the great tzaddik. And the Nitzutze Zohar brings down a whole bunch of cases in which Yosef's called, a whole bunch of sources, which Yosef's called a tzaddik. And it says that this is basically because of his refraining from the wife of Potiphar, is not giving in to the temptation of Arias. And therefore all of Am Yisrael is considered to be tzaddikim, because we all have this trait which comes from, I guess, is embedded in us from Yosef, right? All of Am Yisrael is called Shemiras Yosef, the remnant of Yosef. So we have this idea embedded in us from Yosef, that we are all capable of being HaBris, and it's a unique quality. And the Zohar says that Oretz hu Malchus. So I'm not sure why that's important here, because they're about Mabah. But in any event, that is the idea here, is that Am Yisrael has this capacity, and that evidently was capacity which Noach himself had, because it says Noach is tzaddik, right? So it's Noach tzaddik, Am Yisrael is tzaddikim. All of this is from Yosef Tzaddik. We learned it has to do with Arias, and therefore Noach evidently was saved on that account. Okay, now we're going to go on next to Rabbi Elazar, but we'll leave that for tomorrow.